In this week's episode, tune in to hear about my favorite day of the month, Tuesday, the 8th, when Mars makes a trine to Uranus, what you should do and how you should be spontaneous, free, and daring. To hear more, tune into this episode of Astrological Intentions.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Astrological Intentions. I am your host, Alex Reavy, along with the snowy Cincinnatian herself, Sandy Reavy.
It's true. And add ice in there, too. That's where I am.
It is episode 185, February 7th. Let's get right into it. In the transits, we have a short week, starting with Sandy's favorite day, Tuesday, February 8th, Mars trine Uranus.
Mars trine Uranus, free and daring.
Friday, February 11th, Mercury conjunct Pluto.
Solution in, on, hands.
Then in Talisman time, Sandy has finished up 1 to increase financial gain and the upcoming to increase fertility. Then on the horizon, we have our astrology forecast for February. If you missed it, go ahead and watch it now. Our USA's Pluto return, that's an astrology webinar ready for download, as well as a few others. And then in our house, Sandy and I are going to be spending the weekend in Bengal-land, Cincinnati, Ohio. So listen in as we describe more of our plans for our matriarch's 90th birthday. Stay tuned for this episode of Astrological Intentions.
And so you finally know you control where you go.
Hello, snowy Cincinnatian. Our audio is probably sounding a little bit different because we are recording over internet now.
It's true. I'm in the basement of my mother's house where I'm looking out, seeing ice and snow accumulation. And I had to come in early because of this big winter storm that is passing through the Midwest. So I hope everybody's safe and was safe over this weekend who lived in this little ice tundra.
Yes. And then I'm going to be following quickly afterwards. And then we'll be in Bengalville. Enjoying so funny, the nice storm. Weather.
You know, we've been sitting with my mom watching the news, and this ice storm, it has taken over the radio waves and the television waves more than the Bengal fever. So this ice story certainly has chilled the hot fever of the Bengal story that the Bengals are going to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
They've never won. I think they've been there 3 times, but they have never won. And I remember
this is going to be their 3rd time.
Oh, their 3rd time. Okay.
Right. Yeah. So pretty crazy. So we've definitely been overdoing our bangle beads and really focusing on getting them to the Super Bowl, and it's working. And now we want them to win the Super Bowl. So
and Alex, just we call them Eye of the Tiger. Who dat?
Eye of the Tiger beads, correct?
Because we can't say bangles and we can't say who day.
Right. So let's start by going direct to all of our listeners. Thank you, everybody, for listening in on our podcast. It really does mean a lot. And I have a recent review from someone who had a reading, and her name is Nicole W. She writes in, very helpful and informative. This astrology reading was very informative and helped me better understand my chart and the placements, as well as what areas of my life I need to start focusing on. It helped me find hope and a light at the end of my current tunnel. Yeah. That's nice. That's always nice to find that light at the end of the tunnel. Because sometimes when it's just closing in on you and everything's getting tighter and tighter and darker, it's so nice just to open it up.
Well, and to feel too that it's not a forever darkness, right? That
right.
There is, even if it's a pinprick of light, that means you're moving toward,
right. And it's always good because astrology, is always changing. Everything is temporary. And it just mirrors that. It mirrors life, and life is just temporary. So we won't always be in this current situation, good or bad. So let's move into the transits. We're going to start the week off with your favorite day, Tuesday, February 8th, Mars trine Uranus.
Mars trine Uranus. It's at 11 degrees. Mars is in Capricorn, where he is exalted, and Uranus is in Taurus. So the trine means that they're Earth. And this is at 9 o'clock in the morning. And I called this free and daring. So this is a spontaneous aspect, which is, really why it's my favorite day. And it's actually, this is making a trine to my midheaven, and the Uranus is making that conjunction to my midheaven. So, it's changing. There's something that's changing here and now that just may really work in your favor. There's like this surprising movement to really not be more on the excited section of this instead of the fearful side. I didn't say fearing and daring. I said free and daring. And it's about making some choices that kind of uplift and rise up, and like seeing that light at the end of the tunnel. Come on,
Yes.
like you can do it. It's kind of like taking this progressive idea forward. I really like the spontaneity of it. Again, I'm going to remember or remind you. Do you remember the Bali challenge that I talk about sometimes?
Remind me.
Did I talk about it on last podcast? I don't think so.
I don't think so
We're
either.
in Bali, and we're at the Four Seasons, which we didn't stay there, but at the very final night, we all decided to go get, 5-star cocktails or something, or dinner. Or something. We're walking through this beautiful, 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 so many pools and fountain areas, and we're walking to get to the like bar restaurant area, which was on the beach. And so we had to go through this whole area that was just stunning. And one of the girls says to one of the other girls, the girl that would not do this, one girl says, "I got $50 burning in my pocket. If you take your clothes off." What is that called? Skinny dipping. If you skinny dip
okay.
in this pond or whatever this fountain was. So she says,
Were
"I'll
there
take you
people
up."
around?
There were people around. Weren't you there?
No, I wasn't.
So we went to dinner, got our cocktails, and on the way back, the girl looks at the other girl and says, "Is you still got $50 in your pocket?" And the girl said, "Yeah." She had this new outfit on that she bought in Bali that had a tie up on each one of her shoulders. She untied each one of the ties on her shoulder. This thing fell off. She walked right into the water, got all the way in, came out, and there was people around, and that was dark.
That's so good.
And it's kind of like taking that being free and daring. And she made $50, which was exactly the amount of money she needed for a cab or a Uber to go home from the airport back to her house, where she was considering taking the bus.
Perfect.
So she's like, "Oh, that's $50 for an Uber, and I can get home that way. I'll do it."
Yeah.
So kind of this spontaneous freedom, that's something you would normally not do, but you gain. And there is that, "Oh my God, I can't believe I did it," but I did, and it felt so good.
Those are great. Those make such great stories. So I'm excited to hear more of like how this transit really translates into some of these awesome stories. Okay, so let's move on to our second and last transit of this week, Friday, February 11th, Mercury conjunct Pluto.
Mercury is conjuncting Pluto at 27 degrees Capricorn. This is the third of 3 passes. So this is Mercury's making its final after its retrograde period. This happens at around 8 o'clock in the morning. And the solution is in your hands, on your hands, right? Because when I say solution, it does sound like we have an answer. We have this formulated common sense thought that we have
Mm,
an answer to. But because it's the alchemist, Pluto being the alchemist, it could actually be a, a solution, on your hands, whether it's like this transform, it's a gel, or it's a lotion, or it's, some sort of um, um, like dissolved capsule or something. So, and I say it that way because this Mercury has been bouncing back on Pluto, which can take any hard fact or any, Pluto is the transformer, the planet of death and rebirth, because Pluto just doesn't want to kill something or have something die or decay. It has that that titanic power to create something new, rebirth something, to give birth to something. So it has this hard fact. Um, has it made an impression? Has it made an impression, an idea that might have been transformed after his third visit to the alchemist? And it kind of just reminds me of like discovering something. Like like you look down at your hands, you've got something on your hands, some sort of solution that says, hey, my hands can do something. It can create something,
mhm.
right?
Yeah.
I can put my mind, because Mercury does rule the mind, but also Mercury does rule the hands.
Mhm.
And so when I say, you can maybe have this revealing something that you can trust, that you can actually make an impression somehow, with your hands, whether you're pointing to
Okay.
something. It's like when you play poker, it's like, you can make hand signals. And I learned this the hard way. When you're playing poker in Vegas, if you brush your fingers toward you, just like a small little brush, you're telling the dealer to hit me. And
Right.
the hit me means give me a card, you know.
Right.
Or if
I
you brush
hope everyone
away,
knows that information.
and if you brush away, it means you're, nothing, not
Yeah, you're
considered
gonna pass.
pass.
Right. It's
Or
right. Or
you'll
tap.
tap. You
You
tap
tap
for a
or
hold.
you wave. Right.
Yeah, tap
Mhm.
or a hold. And it reminds me a little bit, maybe you'll talk about this in our story about your hand signal that the best player in the world in pool gave you some hand signals
Oh, right.
that may have worked or not worked for you as you played him. You'll tell us that story a little bit.
Yes.
We were planning
Yes.
on that, but I think that it's too good of a story to just
It's too good of a story. We will definitely share that in
to
our house.
pass off. Watch my hand. To pass off. Yeah,
Right. So, I think that's the end of our week.
it's
I can't
true.
believe how short that is.
It's such a short astrological week. However, drum roll with using my hands.
Yes.
Next week is loaded.
Okay.
Loaded. I mean, we start
Loaded. Got
Monday
it.
morning and we end Friday, and it's quite the busy week. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's enjoy this easy flowing time. So let's move on to talisman times. You have finished one February 7th, and that one was to increase financial gain.
I profit through my creative ways. My success and good fortune are banking this grateful wealth.
Mm,
This is Jupiter, ruler of the whole chart. Jupiter is the planet of plethora of wealth, and Jupiter is rising over the horizon as the ruler. Because it's a day chart, Jupiter is the better benefic here and in his own sign. And Venus, excuse me, and Moon is in the second house, which is the house of money,
mhm.
and the Moon is exalted in Taurus, making a really, really tight, nice applying sextile to Jupiter. So this is for financial gain. And, this is, um, right. It's on the
Yeah.
website.
Yes. So let's move on to the next talisman because I'm pretty sure I have no doubt that that one's going to be going soon. And this one as well, the upcoming one, Saturday, February 12th, to increase fertility. I also just want a quick mention here that if there's anyone listening that, is called to any of these pre-sale talismans, if you get in contact with us, so you can go email me, alex@intentionbeats.com, you can help guide Sandy a little bit. If you pre-purchase this talisman, you can help guide Sandy with colors or style and be, you know, mentally present for when that time comes so that you can be in your own meditation as Sandy is creating the talisman. It's basically the closest thing that you can get to a personal intention bracelet, without going all the way into the personal intention bracelet. So let's talk about this one, to increase fertility.
This one particular space in my body, my mind, my heart, and my life is open for including and birthing a child. It is the perfect place. And I wrote that based on the astrology of that exact moment. This is, on Saturday, February 12th. I'll be making this from Scottsdale, Arizona, and this is early in the morning. And we've got that Jupiter ruling the ascendant coming up over the horizon. This time, the moon is in her domicile of Cancer,
Okay.
and also in the fifth house. Fifth house represents children. So when we talk about, when I wrote this and said, it's the perfect place, it literally is the perfect place in this election chart to birth a child.
Right.
So again, it's to increase fertility. So if you're
Mhm.
looking to, and and you're needing some assistance in that department, in that place of the astrology chart of the fifth house of children, and the place in your body, in your life, that you're willing and wanting to introduce a little one,
Mhm.
this is a bracelet for you. And,
Awesome.
and that's ready. That's up on the website already.
Yeah. And I mean, that's exactly like, that's the, textbook of moon, mother, Cancer, kind of this like motherly instincts.
The nurture.
And yeah, that fifth house of play and children.
Mhm.
So very cool.
Perfect.
So the talisman of the month is to develop new technology as a skill. Remember that the talismans of the month are discounted and you get a shipping credit. It's automatic. All you have to do is add it to your cart at checkout. And if that is one that calls to you, it's a small bead, really beautiful talisman that's got these beautiful tans and golds. So even if you are curious on what it looks like, click that link in the description and you'll be sent over there.
And I chose it for the purpose that Mercury was already earlier this year in Aquarius, which is the techie IT, using frequencies, higher wavelengths, if you will. And some modern astrologers consider Mercury the higher octave, as the planet of Aquarius. So then Mercury retrograded back into Capricorn. And then at the middle of the month, we'll talk about this next week, Mercury goes back into Aquarius. So it's almost like taking on a new skill, thinking you're going to take on a new skill, and then boom, being able to up the game in that that technology, talent and skill area of the world. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's move on to the horizon. We have a few downloads ready and waiting for you. The first one is the talisman ceremony with the Venus Heliacal Rise. This one comes with a talisman, comes with all this personal handouts and chart work, that you won't want to miss. That ceremony was absolutely beautiful. This talisman is all about really coming forth, being purified in femininity and feminine power. So for all of our feminists out there, this is perfect for you. Also, we have our Chatting with the Stars webinar that was all about the USA's Pluto return. This is the first ever Pluto return that's happening for the US ever in history. And it's symbolic. It is meaningful. It is changing. So Sandy and Susan broke all of those big esoteric things down and actually even brought up some countries that have gone through multiple Pluto returns, going through historically what has happened, so what we can look forward to or kind of be expecting in this age of the US. It was very interesting, very informative.
Did you find it really interesting? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just really interesting because all of these themes that are going on with the USA and how it's, it's mirroring what's going on astrologically.
Familiar, similar. What we read about in the history is happening right now again, which we point out that in, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 100 years, 200 years, that somebody will be researching what is happening now in this country.
Right.
We are in a historical moment, particularly, you know,
I totally feel that.
2022.
Yes, we are definitely on, on a heightened scale right now. So you won't want to miss either of those. Click those links, investigate more, and email me if you have questions.
I do have one add-on here because we're going to be doing 3 of these webinars about United States Pluto return. We did the one just recently last week that because we get the first hit of 3 in February, we get the next hit in July, we get the final hit in December, and we are going to hold this checking in on the Pluto return. We just did the February as the intro. Then we're going to check in again on another webinar, which is $25
somewhere around July.
In July, and then we're going to do the final one in December. So that we're
Right.
watching this in real time.
Right. And so, I mean, I think this also goes beautifully along with this. So February 7th is one of the recent docuseries that has taken 9 years to finish and publish out there. And it's called Changing of the Gods. Sandy's been talking about it. She is one of the marketers for this. So if you click that link, head over to Changing of the Gods. It's a very interesting first episode. Well, the trailer is so interesting. And there's going to be, I think you said 10 episodes.
10 episodes that will start, but you have to get on the email list. And so if you click the link that Alex has here, that will take you to changingofthegods.com, where you'll register with your email address. It's free. You register, and then on February 22nd, you will get the first episode that'll play all day long. This next day, you will get the episode number 2 playing all day long.
That's so cool.
Okay, you get that, right? Third day is the third episode all day long.
Got it.
And so they're playing that.
So we're going to binge watch. We're all going to binge watch it together. This will be great.
Well, they're going to just play the first episode, the second episode on day 2, the third episode. At the very end of this, they're going to play it all the way through.
Oh.
Yeah, and then it's going to go away. They don't know where it's going to head yet, but right now they're just doing independent distribution. They're not putting it to the big movie house distributors because they want more control. Everybody in the world. This is it talks a little bit about the Pluto return, but it's mostly about the Pluto
Uranus, right?
Conjunction, square, opposition, square, conjunction.
And we got to watch the first episode.
Yeah.
And actually see and participate in a Q&A.
with Dr.
Um,
Uranus,
Very cool.
yeah, his daughter Becca, and the co-writer, director, and producer, which I'm losing his name, Akbal. Oh, I forget his name now. Kenny Akbal. But anyway,
Yeah.
more about that if you click in that little link.
Yes.
Okay.
Also, we have our Constellation Bracelet Workshop still open for registration. That's March 2nd to April 16th. And that is all about the spring equinox, the fresh start to the year. We meet multiple times, creating one single bead with one affirmation per meeting. So by the end of the basically 2 months, month and a half, you have a complete talisman bracelet that has all of these different affirmations that have gone along this journey with you. It's a really great supportive community. I mean, just
We ended, we finished, we concluded our winter solstice one
just this
the other
week.
day. Yeah. And man, it's powerful.
It is, and it's a little bit, tough to, say goodbye. But we some people pop back in and come back in for another season. But it's you get so you're so present, you're so open and honest with what's going on in your life, and kind of like looking up to the stars for a little bit of guidance. And it's been so beneficial for so many people. And I will want to start sharing a couple testimonials here in the next couple of episodes at the beginning, so that people can learn a little bit about what the Constellation Bracelet Workshop really is and what it has done for people.
Yeah, and sign up. I have some spaces available because I'll have to get you your book. We send out this really detailed booklet that connects to your personal natal chart. And that in itself is, if you're working on a big project, or you're having um, a melancholic time, if there's something big going on in your world that's hard or confusing, sign up. This is working with me multiple times, 12 times for a good hour and a half to sometimes 2 hours. They're all recorded just for the group only, and it's a very small group that we take.
Yeah. So just in case you do miss the live recording, you can always join up and catch up on your own time if you need it. So that's available and open for registration. So let's move to the end of our horizon currently, where that is the early bird for the 2023 Mexico retreat. That is still open and available. Those links are in the description if you are interested in joining us for the 2023 Mexico retreat, which is January 21st through the 28th.
Can I share something here?
Sure.
So my goal of wanting to do 4 retreats a year.
Yeah.
That I keep going back to the same places, right? So I do Casa Tara in Mexico in January. We do Bali in April, although we haven't been able to go recently, but we'll get back on that plane and be doing Bali every April. And then I've always wanted to go to Greece. I've never been to Greece, and I want to go and run a retreat in Greece. And then I want to do one in Tuscany / Florence, Italy. So up came an opportunity recently for me to go to Greece. That
you needed a little push.
You pushed me, you put your hand on my back and you said, "Which way are you going, Mom?" And then you pushed me just slightly enough. You've always wanted to do something in Greece, Mom. You've never been. You've got some really good friends running a retreat out there, and I think you should go. And I signed up. I'm going on someone else's retreat to do some, recon on my future Greek, my
big fat Greek retreat.
my big healthy Greek retreat And so I'll be going to an island called Amargos. I will be going into Athens, and I've already reached out to Ariel Gutman because I want to meet up with her and maybe talk about the Venus Star Point and having her um, maybe direct one day of my retreat. So keep your eyes and ears peeled if you are interested in Greece for a retreat. Email Alex. I'm considering, have I told you this? I'm considering of doing possibly one in October this year, if I can put
Oh,
together. I know I'm saying it here because,
okay. Well, I mean, hey, listen, if enough people are interested, I can get behind that. So if you are interested in this possible October opportunity, email me, alex@intentionbeats.com. So we'll see. We'll see if we can
I'm
make that
going in,
happen. It's
I'm
a
going in May.
possibility,
I'm going in May.
right?
So, it's totally a possibility.
Hmm.
Anyway, I just wanted to say that out loud right
Very
now.
cool. Very
Hold me
cool.
to it.
Okay. So let's move into our house. Um, we, at the time that this podcast will be published, we will be just winding down our weekend in Bengal-land, Cincinnati, Ohio, where we'll celebrate our matriarch's 90th birthday.
So my mom's going to be 90 and we're all gathering, and I'm sure it's going to go off. Again, we're recording this, we're not there. We're not to the birthday party
Right.
yet because we're recording early. And there's this big winter wonderland storm, ice, ice, ice. Like we're saying, like 2 to 3 inches of ice here. So it's not just the snow. And that they're asking people to get off the road. And we're just wondering if the gods and goddesses of the cosmic world will smile down upon us and allow for this party to occur. We got about 70 people coming. And let me tell you, they're not all spring birds. They're my mom's
Right.
friends. They're my mom's
Right.
friends, right? So, who really wants to get out and
Spring
drive
chickens. But
oh,
yeah,
spring chickens,
spring birds.
spring birds.
It
Um,
works.
so so we've got a couple things going on this like crazy, you and I are the creative, crazy ones. And so we are having just a family party with everybody coming in and flying in just at my mom's house later Saturday night. But during the day, we have a noon, like a lunch party planned for mom and all of her friends and all the people that she plays cards with and all her garden friends and,
Fun.
relatives and
Yeah.
neighbors. And there's like 70 people coming to that. And so we thought, okay, some of these people know, say me, when I was a little girl and I haven't seen them in so long. And so you made these beautiful name tags that just the name tags are for the family. And then I
Mhm.
thought, let's get up on stage. Well, it's a dance floor. It's not really a stage. That they have a microphone. We'll stand in a line and I'll be first because I'm the oldest. And then you're my offspring. So you stand next to me, right? So everybody knows that you're my daughter, right? Because a lot of people won't know. And this is only a 2-hour party. So it's really not like, hello, you're not going to get around to everybody.
Right, right.
I had this, how do we introduce ourselves without making it boring and right? Because we only have 2 hours to eat, sing, eat cake. And
Mhm.
so I start with the microphone and I go up and say, "Hey mom, Sandy here." As I round 66, because I also think that there needs to be some context into all of our
Who's
ages
talking?
as we're
Right.
standing all there in a line. And it's, me, my sister, her kids, my brother, his kids and their spouses, my other brother and his kids and his wife, of course, their wives. So, who are all these people? So if I go forward and say, hey, Sandy here, the oldest, rounding 66. Hey, mom, I have a question. How do you keep your skin how do you keep your skin so soft? I'm starting to notice these lines here. And these are not, and everybody will have their own kind of comment or question, but these are rhetorical. So
Right.
where she won't have a chance to answer them. She'll just it'll be like one of those bump a bump 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 boom, and then I step
Right.
backwards and then I hand the microphone to you because you're my offspring, right? You step forward and you're like, "Hey, Mimi, Alex here, you know, round in 33. I have a question for you. I'm wondering always why blah blah blah. You have your own thing, right?" And just as she thinks
Mhm.
she's going to answer, we go bump a bump 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 bump, and then you step
Right.
back. When you hand it to my sister, who is next in line after me, she steps forward with the microphone, introduces herself, and says maybe her age, and then, "Mom, I was, answer this for me. How come blah blah blah, bump it a bump bump bump." So, as we're doing all this, we're looking at sounds, like
Mhm.
how do we we don't want it to linger. We want to get it done, get it over. And so we
Right.
were
So
listening.
that but
Yeah, we were listening. So it's like, what sound should we? So we were choosing this. Listen, hold on. Or
oh,
like
that
now,
one's strange.
no, not really.
Right.
Oh, that's a big
That
no. That's a no.
that could work though.
Oh no, that's a no.
It's pretty.
That's Cinderella. I like it.
Oh.
No. Oh, that's a good
That's
one.
perfect. Yeah.
There's. Oh, that sounds like. So listening to all of these kind of crazy sounds, I was like, none of these are kind of it what I so I was like, I was driving down the other day and I'm like, I need to what would be a good one? So I went to this one. Hold on. Oops, stop. I went to this one. What do you think about this one? I think this might be the yes.
That's perfect.
Does everybody like that one?
Yeah.
So that'll just be where, I say it, boom, we put that over the speakers,
Mhm.
in this location. We got this it's like really a reception hall. It's like a wedding reception hall we rented. And I step backwards, hand you the mic, you move forward, the music stops, you say yours, we click it again. So mom will not have a chance to answer these questions, but it's just a nice way to honor her. To say, "Mom, you always look so beautiful. What's the secret?" Boom, ba bump, bump, you know.
Dun, 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 dun,
And
dun,
then the
dun,
next
dun,
person
dun,
comes
dun,
up, and I
dun,
think
dun, dun, dun,
it's a really
dun,
nice
dun.
way to
That's
introduce
nice.
everybody and say something nice
Yeah,
about
and
them,
compliment her and
and
also
then
showcase
be
all of her
funny,
talents. Yeah.
and then be
I love
funny.
it. I love
Okay,
it.
so I'll let you know how that goes.
Yes.
I mean, everybody, I know you'll be there, Alex.
Yes, yes. So I also have a big surprise that I wanted to share with everyone here on the podcast. I think I mentioned last week that I had this amazing opportunity to go and play against the GOAT, the greatest of all time pool player. His name is Efren Reyes, and he is a Filipino man who came to the US after already having an amazing career in the Philippines, came to the US, and then just, pretty much ran the world, the pool world from then on.
Yeah.
He's maybe in his 60s now, 60s or 70s. And he came to like a local little pool club, and um I was there, me and my boyfriend, just kind of watching, and it was being streamed online. And if you bought a VIP ticket, you got to play him. And some of these VIP tickets were pretty expensive. So um, the woman who was running the event was my captain in Vegas when we went and won third place. She saw me watching and she comes over and she goes, "Alex, do you want to play him?" And I look over at her, I go, "Absolutely."
Yeah.
And she goes, "All right, you're going to be up next." And so I all of a sudden, like, I think I just blushed. I got really hot. I was like, okay, I'm gonna try and do this. This is an amazing once in a lifetime opportunity. And really I was just there to like shake his hand, tell him he's great, get a signature and a picture, and, be on my merry way. So just
Yeah.
instead, I was one of the top 10 people to get to play, and I got to pick the game. So I picked 8 ball, and I they allow us to break, because usually when you're playing him, if you miss once, you have to like win the game in your first turn in order to really win. But if you miss, he's just going to run out. He is going to beat you. So I'm playing him, and my first, after the break, I made one in, but after my first shot, I missed. And I just remember in my head being like, well, this was a really awesome opportunity.
I might as well go sit and get my coat on. Yeah.
But honestly, just like kind of like sitting there in the opponent's chair and just watching him so closely it was surreal. It was just this moment of like, wow, I don't know whether or not to pay attention to like just him playing or actually play this game. So all of a sudden he, is basically running out, and he I don't know how he messed up. I don't know how. Maybe he was feeling sorry for me. But all of a sudden he missed the 8 ball. And it was so crazy because I was still alive, and I could do it. So unlike everyone else, I was the only one to like go up to the table, and I just asked him, I go, well, what would you hit here? Because he is the greatest of all time. I don't know why anyone wasn't asking his advice.
Right.
So I was like, okay, well, what would you do here? So he's just motioning to me because his English isn't good at all. And actually like being here for so many years, or like touring around here for so many years, I was kind of expecting him to speak English, but so he was just giving me like hand motions, like this one, bring it over here, that one, hit into that pocket and bring it over here. And so we're talking about like 5 turns ahead.
Yeah.
So I start making them.
Woo!
And I keep going, and I keep going. And all of a sudden, boom, I drop the 8 ball and I win.
Ow! Unbelievable.
So, yeah, it was absolutely surreal. Everyone was cheering. And this was also after the reason why she wanted me to play him so soon was that she was going to be spotlighting all of the ladies of pool. So all of the ladies that played pool walked up on the stage area, and we all took a picture with Efren, and then my game started immediately.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
kind of felt this pressure.
Video.
I kind of felt this pressure of like, I need to represent. I need to represent my ladies of pool here. And somehow I did. Everyone was cheering. They couldn't believe that I came back after like basically being dead. And I just got so many pats on the back. I got to shake his hand, and he's just a jolly old man, and he was just such a pleasure to play with. And it
He's
really
my
was
age. He's my age.
a jolly old man, but he's adorable. So, so yeah, it was just such a great experience. And now I get to say that I beat the greatest pool player of all time. And
And it's video. They had a videographer there.
and I have proof.
Oh, that was
So
so great, Alex.
it was so great. So I wanted to share that all with you on the podcast because my goodness, that is a big, big deal for me. So I think that's all. So thank you everybody for listening in.
Yeah.
Remember, we love, love, love your reviews. We love your emails. So please keep them coming. Multiples, duplicates, whatever you can. So remember to email me, alex@intentionbeats.com, or review us on whatever podcast listening platform you use.
Please.
So thank you everybody so much for listening, and we will catch you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And so you finally know you control where you go.